Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Good morning, everybody. To all the students joining us this morning from various schools across Canada, I welcome you in the Islamic tradition. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah wa barakatuhu. May the peace and blessings of God be upon you all. It's my distinct pleasure and honor to welcome you to this year's Islamic Heritage Month program, organized by the Ahmadiyya Muslim Jamaat of Canada. We're so excited to take you on a mesmerizing journey through time to unveil the splendors of the Islamic Golden Age. This was an era from the 8th to the 14th century AD, where the Islamic world lit the torch of progress in science, in mathematics, in art, and beyond. This year's spotlight for the Islamic Heritage Month program is the awe-inspiring realm of medicine. My name is Dr. Ansar Daoud, and I'm a resident physician in the field of orthopedic surgery. I'm thrilled to share some of the inspirational stories that led me to go into medical school and the stories that inspire countless students across the world. But before we embark on our journey, let's ignite a spiritual flame. In the tradition of the Ahmadiyya Muslim Jamaat, we commence our gatherings with a recitation from the Islamic holy book, the Holy Quran. Please join me in welcoming my esteemed colleague, Sarmad Naveed, to the stage.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وأوحى ربك إلى النحل أن اتخذي من الجبال بيوتا ومن الشجر ومما يعرشون ثم كلي من كل الثمرات فاسلكي سبل ربك ذللا يخرج من بطونها شراب مختلف ألوانه فيه شفاء للناس إن في ذلك لآية لقوم يتفكرون والله خلقكم ثم يتوفاكم ومنكم من يرد إلى أرذل العمر لكي لا يعلم بعد علم شيئا إن الله عليم قدير. I have just recited before you chapter 16 of the Holy Quran, verses 69 to 71. The English translation of these verses is as follows. I seek refuge with Allah from Satan the rejected, in the name of Allah, most gracious, ever merciful. And thy Lord has inspired the bee, saying, Make thou houses in the hills and in the trees, and in the trellises which they build. Then eat of every kind of fruit, and follow the ways of thy Lord that have been made easy for thee. There comes forth from their bellies a drink of varying hues. Therein is cure for men. Surely in that is a sign for a people who reflect. And Allah creates you, then He causes you to die. And there are some among you who are driven to the worst part of life, with the result that they know nothing after having had knowledge. Surely Allah is all-knowing, powerful.
Thank you for that beautiful recitation. Now let's gear up for a thrilling journey today. We have insightful presentations, a captivating tableau, and to keep the energy high, we'll end with a Kahoot quiz. Stay tuned as we've got fantastic prizes for our top 3 Kahoot participants. First place will take home a $100 gift card, while second and third places will receive a $75 and $50 gift card respectively. The Kahoot sign-up details will be located at the bottom of your screen, and we'll put it up throughout the program, so pay attention to that. This year, we're spotlighting Islam's remarkable contributions to the world of medicine. To me, as a physician, this holds immense significance. But as we journey through today's program, I hope you will come to appreciate the profound impact of Islamic scholars. Their pioneering work not only laid the groundwork for advancements in medical science, but also set the stage for monumental achievements that we witness today. Randomized controlled trials. In the vast realm of science, the journey of discovery is often paved by experiments. And in modern medicine, if there were a crown jewel of experimental methods, it would undeniably be what's known as a randomized control trial, or often abbreviated as RCT. RCTs aren't just any method. They're the foundation of evidence-based medicine in current practice. At their core, there lies a control group and an experiment group, ensuring that we can draw clear conclusions without bias. Intriguingly, the genesis of the control group can be traced back to the luminous Islamic Golden Age. To delve deeper into this captivating history, let's hear from Dr. Jim Al-Khalili, a renowned British professor specializing in theoretical sciences and a passionate scholar of medical history.
It was during the Islamic Golden Age that medicine started to be treated as a true science, with emphasis on empirical evidence and repeatable procedures. During that time, medical books were written that became standard texts throughout the world for many hundreds of years. One thing that's of tremendous interest to me is that this idea of a control group actually goes all the way back over 1,000 years to a Persian physician by the name of Al-Razi, who built the first hospitals in Baghdad, who was looking into the causes and treatments of meningitis. And I believe he had not only his sample of patients, but he had a control group to which he wasn't administering the treatment. In that case, it was bloodletting, which we know isn't the way you treat meningitis, but the idea of a control group goes all the way back to Al-Razi.
This is actually one of the most important components of research, that we do have a control group to try to ensure that our studies come out as non-biased as possible.
To compare against.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah.
Al-Razi was born in the city of Ray near Tehran in the mid-9th century, and he was an early proponent of applying a rigorous scientific approach to medicine. During his distinguished career, he served as chief physician of hospitals in both Ray and Baghdad. In the early 10th century, the ruling caliph in Baghdad, Al-Muqtafi, asked Al-Razi where in the city he should build a new hospital. So Al-Razi designed an experiment. He hung meat up around different locations to see how quickly they rotted, and so determine the place with the cleanest air. This was typical of Al-Razi. You have a problem, you design an experiment to find the answer.
From the annals of the Islamic Golden Age springs forth a name that resonates with brilliance: Al-Razi, a vanguard in the realm of medicine. Al-Razi was a staunch advocate for direct clinical observations and the weight of empirical evidence. He fervently believed that theoretical concepts come alive only when grounded in hands-on application. Transitioning from this beacon of medical progress, let's discuss another subject that stands central to our being: the heart. The heart is an incredible organ. It tirelessly pumps blood. It ensures that every tissue and organ in our body is nourished with oxygen and essential nutrients so that we can survive and thrive. Its unceasing rhythm is emblematic of life itself. And while our grasp of cardiac intricacies today is profound, the roots of this understanding lie deeply embedded in times when knowledge was blossoming in the Islamic Golden Age. So let's explore it further with a video that unveils the discoveries about a heart function from the luminescent era of Islamic scholarship.
In the 17th century, William Harvey famously carried out his groundbreaking research into the circulation of blood and the function of the heart. But in 1924, an ancient document was discovered. This was a text written by Ibn Nafis, a 13th century Arab physician. In it, he described the basics of pulmonary circulation, how blood doesn't move across from one side of the heart to the other, but has to take the long way round, around the body. This 400 years before Harvey.
Here we have a scholar born in Syria in the early part of the 13th century. He was a polymath because he was studying, he was a theologian, he was a scientist, if you like, he was a discoverer.
But arguably his most important contribution was his commentary on medicine, in which he looked at how blood moves through the heart.
So this is the heart, and you can see quite clearly the right ventricle and the left ventricle. And these are two completely separate chambers. The question has been, how does blood go from the right ventricle to the left ventricle?
For centuries, the accepted view had been that of the renowned Greek physician Galen. Galen said that blood passes directly between the right and left ventricles of the heart through tiny holes in the septum, the dividing wall that separates them. Ibn al-Nafis was the first to challenge Galen's view. He established that there weren't any holes, so there had to be another way for blood to pass from right to left.
The contention of some persons to say that this place is porous, it's based on the preconceived idea that the blood from the right ventricle had to pass through the porosity, and they are wrong. He's quoted as saying that for somebody as young as this person at the time, when he was 29, to have the courage to state such a thing is absolutely remarkable. Galen said that there are holes in the septum, but if you open the right ventricle like I am doing now, it is solid. There are no channels whatsoever. Ibn Nafis was absolutely right.
Ibn Nafis stated that the blood must first pass through the lungs, where he said it mingled with air before it came back to the heart and was pumped around the body.
Now we know that the blood from the right ventricle goes into the pulmonary artery, which is here, goes around the lung, comes back in these pulmonary veins into the left ventricle. So this is the pulmonary circulation which comes here. That is the discovery. It's now obvious, but it wasn't then.
Ibn al-Nafis's description wasn't widely accepted at the time, and it wasn't until his manuscript was rediscovered in the 20th century that his work was universally recognized. It's now part of the long history of medicine that continues to evolve today.
Now, let's listen to Dr. Kokab Awan, a cardiologist, who will speak to us about his field and his area of expertise in cardiology. Assalamu alaikum, Dr. Kokabawan. Welcome to the show. We're very excited to have you on and to explore the world of cardiology with you. We have a lot of young students from schools across Canada joining us today, and we're hoping to make this discussion as insightful and as easy to understand for them as possible. So if you're ready, we can start.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I'm excited to be here and share this knowledge with our young audience.
So Dr. Awan, let's start with the basics. Can you tell me a little bit about the word qalb in Arabic, which means heart, and what is the significance of this word?
Of course, the term qalb appears 132 times in the Holy Quran. Its root denotes its concepts of change, transformation, and motion. And this mirrors the reality that our human heart is always in motion and can undergo several changes throughout our life.
Okay, so what you're telling me is that the word qalb in the Holy Quran doesn't just mean the physical heart, but it also has a deeper spiritual meaning or reference to heart. Is that right?
Exactly. In Islamic philosophy, the qalb represents the center of our personality. It's a dual reference to both the physical and heart, which pumps blood, and the ethereal heart, which controls our spiritual state. There's a beautiful verse in the Holy Quran, chapter 3, verse 9, and it reads, "There is, our Lord, let not our hearts become perverse after thou hast guided us, and bestow on us mercy from thyself. Surely, thou alone art the bestower."
So the Holy Prophet Mohammad, peace be upon him, also had some sayings related to the heart. Are you familiar with any of these, and can you share them with us?
Absolutely. There are several hadiths, but one famous hadith from Sahih al-Bukhari states, the Holy Prophet ﷺ states, "There's a piece of flesh in the body. If it becomes good, reformed, the whole body becomes good. But if it gets spoiled, the whole body gets spoiled." And that is the heart. From a medical standpoint, this is incredibly accurate. Conditions like chronic heart failure show case that when the heart is affected, the entire body shows symptoms.
That really is inspiring, Dr. Awan. And now to finish off, I want to ask you, can you tell us from your perspective as both a Muslim and a cardiologist, what is the importance of maintaining a healthy heart, both physically but also spiritually?
Certainly, our heart is central to our well-being. Physically, it pumps blood life throughout our body. Spiritually, it's where our faith and intentions reside. As the Holy Quran states in chapter 13, verse 29, it is in the remembrance of Allah that hearts can find comfort. So it's paramount that we care about our hearts in every sense of the word.
Once again, Dr. Awan, thank you so much for joining us. Me and all of our audience have really been inspired by learning about the essence of the human heart, both spiritually as well as physically. Thanks for joining us.
It was my pleasure. I hope our young listeners take this to the heart and remember the importance of their qalb in their lives.
Shifting our focus, let's delve into the realm of anatomy. As an aspiring orthopedic surgeon, my daily endeavors hinge heavily on the intricate understanding of anatomy and physiology of the human body. It's astounding to realize that surgical knowledge that I rely on today was gained through centuries of discovery and dedication beginning in the Islamic Golden Age. The enhancement of knowledge in anatomy, physiology, and medicine truly flourished and led to our current modern understanding. Let's dive deeper into this fascinating impact.
Early hospitals did exist in 8th and 9th century Baghdad, but these were little more than hostels for the sick, offering care but not much in the way of cure. However, hospitals as we'd recognize them today, giving treatment and offering medicine for free, did begin to appear around the empire in cities such as Cairo, Cordoba, and Damascus. In order for these hospitals to provide care, they needed a knowledge of medicines and surgery. The most important work of the Golden Age was written by the great 10th century philosopher and physician Ibn Sina, better known by his Latin name Avicenna. This is my personal copy of his great text, The Canon of Medicine, Al-Qanun fi Tib. The full work was a multi-volume group of texts that took on where the Greeks left off, physicians like Galen and Hippocrates. In this first volume, he describes human anatomy in great detail. And what I love is that he talks about things like tashrih adl al-wajh, the muscles of the face, and then goes on to talk about the muscles of the forehead, the muscles of the eyeball, even the muscles of the eyelid. He then works his way through the entire human anatomy. In other texts, he describes surgery, he describes illnesses and their treatments. It's medical knowledge as they understood it then. It contained a lot of superstition, but a lot of common sense as well. The point is, this text was so important, it was still being used around the world over 500 years later.
Even though today we know that not everything Ibn Sina wrote was correct, his work was the pinnacle of medical knowledge at that time. In his canon, he includes a large number of medicines and remedies that use common herbs.
Describes human anatomy in great detail. And what I love is that he talks about things like tashrih adl al-wajh, the muscles of the face, and then goes on to talk about the muscles of the forehead, the muscles of the eyeball, even the muscles of the eyelid. He then works his way through the entire human anatomy. In other texts, he describes surgery, he describes illnesses and their treatments. It's medical knowledge as they understood it then. It contained a lot of superstition, but a lot of common sense as well. The point is, this text was so important, it was still being used around the world over 500 years later.
Even though today we know that not everything Ibn Sina wrote was correct, his work was the pinnacle of medical knowledge at that time. In his canon, he includes a large number of medicines and remedies that use common herbs.
Women, pioneers of Islamic medicine. The media often paints a picture, but not always a full one. The real narrative of women in Islam is both rich and empowering, with many women having risen to the echelons of academic and medical excellence. Let's talk about some of them. Rufayda al-Aslamiyah. Beyond being one of the earliest Muslim nurses and medical experts, Rufayda's tent stands out as a testament to what could have been considered the first ever mobile hospital. Her legacy, not just in treatment, but in passionately educating Muslim women in medicine. The Banu Musa sisters. Enter the dynamic trio of the 9th century Maryam and her sisters. These Persian prodigies weren't just scholars, but prolific physicians and mathematicians. Their magnum opus, Kitab al-Marakib, a tome encompassing both medicine and groundbreaking mechanical inventions. Maryam al-Qibtiyah. With the grand halls of the Fatimid Caliphate in Egypt, Maryam's name echoed as the unparalleled surgeon of her time. Specializing in intricate eye surgeries, she was particularly esteemed for her prowess in treating cataracts. Karima al-Marwaziyah. Hailing from Maro, today's Turkmenistan, Karima was a beacon in ophthalmology. Her contributions have left an indelible mark on the art of eye surgery. Fatima al-Fihri. While her direct connection to medicine might not be evident, her monumental contribution lies in the establishment of the University of Al-Qarawiyyin in Fez, Morocco. This institution, housing a distinguished medical school, boasts the title of the world's oldest continuously operating university, and it was started by a woman. A tribute to these luminaries is a testament to the vital and vibrant role that women played in shaping the medical landscape. The ancient wisdom of quarantine and Muslim physicians in the COVID era. The formidable challenges of COVID illuminated the pivotal role of quarantines in battling infectious diseases. Yet this understanding is actually deeply rooted in Islamic teachings. The Prophet Mohammad, peace be upon him, who is the founder of Islam, provided timeless advice that aligns seamlessly with today's best practices. He said, "If the plague breaks out in a region, do not go there. But if you are already there, do not come out of it." Mind you, this was 1400 years ago. Globally, Muslim physicians were at the forefront, becoming a beacon of lights in the dense fog of the COVID-19 pandemic. Today, we're honored to have Dr. Noman Hassan, one of my distinguished colleagues as a resident surgeon from McMaster University, to share his insights and his experiences. Let's talk with Dr. Noman Hassan. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, Dr. Noman Hassan. It's such a pleasure to have you on the program today. You are a general surgeon, a resident physician, and you have a beautiful understanding of some of the Islamic teachings. So our audience is very eager to hear from you. We're going to be chatting a bit about the pandemic, as well as the contributions of Muslim scientists to medicine. So if you're ready, we can begin.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah. May peace and blessings of Allah be upon you all. Thank you for having me. It's an honor and privilege to be here.
Wonderful. So as a resident, as a physician, as a surgeon during the pandemic, can you tell us a little bit about your experiences on the front line?
The pandemic was a challenging time, to say the least. It forced us as physicians, healthcare workers, and hospital systems to function beyond our capacity. As a Muslim physician, my faith gave me strength to serve. Our days were extremely busy, but taking a break for the prescribed salat was grounding. I witnessed Muslims and non-Muslim physicians working tirelessly, often putting their own lives at risk while looking after their patients. Sacrifice for humanity is a core value of Islam. This was evident everywhere around us. For me personally, it was difficult to stay away from my family, especially my young daughter.
Certainly, Dr. Hassan, it was a challenging time for many people around the globe. I want to know, from your perspective and from an Islamic perspective, were there any teachings or guidance that helped you and perhaps helped other physicians navigate the challenges of the pandemic?
Absolutely. There are many principles that come to mind. The value of human life. The Holy Quran states that whoever saves a life, it is as if they have saved the entirety of mankind. This verse was a guiding light for many of us. Then, cleanliness. This was extremely important for us, making sure we keep everyone around us safe. There is a saying of the Holy Prophet, peace be upon him, that cleanliness is half of faith. Also, the concept of quarantine and isolation was practiced during the time of the Holy Prophet, peace be Muhammad, during plagues and disease outbreak. Lastly, Islam promotes to follow the law of the land and obey leadership. Although it was difficult to follow the guidelines put forth by the public health agency, but extremely important in keeping us all safe. As a Muslim physician, following the Islamic teachings and scientific guidelines made it clear that science and spirituality are on the same path.
That's very insightful. The next question I have for you, Dr. Hassan, is as a physician who is a believer of faith, were there any sacrifices that you had to make personally, and perhaps physicians from any faith background would have had to make to take care of patients during the difficult challenges of the COVID-19 pandemic?
Definitely. The pandemic showed us that irrespective of our backgrounds or beliefs, we were united in our mission to save lives. Physicians, nurses, healthcare staff from all walks of life showed resilience, commitment, and immense sacrifice. Many were away from their families for a prolonged period of times, and some even lost their loved ones. This sacrifice is a testament to the noble profession we serve.
As we look to wrap up our interview, are there any personal lessons or pearls of wisdom that you've learned personally that you would like to pass on to our audience, who, as you know, consists of many students across Canada who are joining us today?
The pandemic taught us about our shared humanity. It reminded us of the impermanence of life and the importance of compassion, unity, and collective responsibility. My advice to our audience would be to cherish every moment, uphold the values of empathy and community, and always prioritize knowledge and understanding. As believers, we should also remember the power of prayer and the importance of putting our trust in Almighty while doing our part.
Dr. Hassan, thank you very much for your wisdom, your sacrifices, your service on the front lines, to you and to all of the frontline workers who've worked so hard to keep us all safe. Thanks for joining us.
It is my honor and duty. Thank you for having me. May we all learn, grow, and support each other in times of adversity.
Some very informative interviews and conversations that we're having today. Up next, we have a special segment with some of the children and students from the Ahmadiyya Muslim Jamaat who will be performing a tableau to showcase the character and the qualities of some of the Muslim scientists and scholars in medicine from the Islamic Golden Age. Let's have a look.
Assalamu alaikum to all. It is I, Al-Razi, Persian scholar and one of the first medical experts in the world. For years, I dedicated my life to research, being a physician and practicing alchemy. And no, alchemy is not magic. Rather, it is the roots of chemistry, which you learn in your educational institutes today. One of my favorite strands of medicine was the anatomy of the brain. As a pioneer in the treatment of mental illness, I found that the state of the body has a deep link to the state of the mind. I was also among the first to discover that smallpox was an entirely different disease than measles, which later allowed you to treat it properly. As the author of nearly 224 books on various subjects, including the Comprehensive Book of Medicine, which had around 23 volumes dedicated to specific parts or diseases of the body, I think it's safe to say that my title of the greatest physician of the Islamic world is nothing to take lightly.
Hello, my name is Zahra bin Gas and have a wonderful story to share with you. I lived a time long ago where people needed help, especially when they're sick or having babies. I decided to become a healer, and I did some amazing things. As a young girl, I was curious and wanted to learn. I studied hard and became really good at medicine. I learned all about herbs, remedies, and to care of people when they're unwell. I also became an expert helping moms during childbirth, making sure both mom and baby were safe and healthy. I started teaching other girls and women about medicine too. I showed them how to take care of the sick people and how to make sure that babies were born safely. You know, in those days, we didn't have a big hospital like we do now. We had to rely on each other and share our knowledge. So, I traveled to different places to help people who needed it the most. I was like a superhero without a cape. One of my biggest achievements was teaching others to be healers too. By doing that, I created a chain of caring people who helped their community long after I was gone. So remember, no matter how young you are, you can make a big difference in the world. You can use your skills and your heart to help others, just like I did. Whether you want to be a doctor, a nurse, or just a kind friend, you can make the whole world a better place, one act of kindness at a time. Thank you for listening, and always remember, you can do great things.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, dwellers of the 21st century. My name is Ibn Sina. I am an academic of the Islamic Golden Age. You may know me for my work decoding the secrets of space, or perhaps you may know me for my work in philosophy. But wait, it must be my work in the field of medicine for which you might recall in my name today, while I made some of the outstanding discoveries you'll learn about in schools today, like how light travels faster than sound, and responsible for many breakthroughs in medicine too. Have you heard of an oil? I believe you call it essential oils in the present day. Well, I was the brains behind discovering that these sorts of oils are useful for anxiety, better sleep, and reduced pain. Oh, well, would you look at that? My time here is nearly up. I must get back to studying the secrets of the universe. If you would like to know more on how I made an impact on medicine, I'd recommend my book, The Canon of Medicine, which is a collection of all the knowledge of medicine that was discovered in my lifetime. After all, I am once quoted to have said that there are no incurable diseases, only the lack of will.
Hi there, I'm Rafeda Al-Islamia, and I want to share my story with you. I lived a long time ago, back in the 7th century, when things were very different. But even then, I found a way to make a big difference in the world. You see, I loved helping people, especially when they're sick or hurt. I lived in a special place called Medina, and near the Prophet Mohammad, peace be upon him's mosque. I set up a little medical tent. It was a small, cozy place where people could come when they weren't feeling well. I didn't have fancy tools or machines like doctors do today. Instead, I used what I had: kindness, care, and knowledge about herbs and remedies. I would tend to wounds, make herbal medicines, and offer comfort to those who need it most. It was like being a helper and a healer all at once. But I didn't stop there. I knew that more people could make a bigger difference. So I started teaching other women how to care for the sick and injured too. I wanted to pass on my knowledge and create a team of caring helpers. My little medical tent became a place of learning and healing. I taught these wonderful women about the importance of compassion and tending to those in need. Together, we formed one of the first nursing teams in history. So remember, even though I lived a very long time ago, my love for helping and teaching others still lives on. No matter how young or old you are, you could be just like me, a helper, a healer, and a beacon of kindness in the world.
Assalamu alaikum. Scientists in the making. I'm Ibn al-Nafis, one of the many Muslim physicians and theologists of the Islamic Golden Age. Though I shared this field with many visionaries and geniuses, my true interest lay in the studies of pulmonary circulation. That is, the circulation of the heart. Shall I explain to you how it works? When blood flows into the heart, it flows in without oxygen. As it enters the right atrium of the heart, it flows through the right ventricle. The blood enters the lungs, where it takes oxygen. Then right back to the heart it goes, through the left atrium, where the left atrium and aorta pump the blood back out to the rest of the body. Sounds simple? It most definitely is not. Understanding the functions of the organs of the body is essential to the field of medicine. For years, I dedicated my life to studying pulmonary circulation and the invisible magic our bodies perform on a day-to-day basis. As the knowledge of the system has been expanded over the centuries, I'm glad to have been able to build a foundation for what is known of the heart today.
Welcome back. Those were some wonderful performances by the children in the Tableau segment. We're reaching the end of the program now, and it's time for the much anticipated and very exciting Kahoot quiz that we have been giving you the heads up about. So we hope you were paying attention to the earlier parts of the program. Throughout the program, you would have seen the instructions to join the game, and they would be on your screen now. You have to go to kahoot.it and enter the game ID. I can see right now that we already have 260 participants, and we're really excited that you're joining us. We'll give it about 1 more minute to see if there's any last-minute participants who would like to join before we start the game. Okay, once again, so we're reaching the end of the program, and we are just about to start our Kahoot game. We hope you were paying attention to the program that preceded this. We already have about 260 participants who've joined the game. If you're a last-minute participant who'd like to join, once again, we'll give about 45 more seconds. Visit kahoot.it, enter the code, and you'll be able to participate in the game. While we wait for our last-minute participants to join, I'll just give you a few instructions and a few important pieces of information. First, we are going live on YouTube, and there is a bit of a delay from our studio to the time you're seeing the questions on the stage. So just bear with us from an audio-video perspective. We'll do our best to give you the full time to answer the questions, but the faster you're able to answer the questions, the more points you get, and do your best that as soon as you see the question on the screen and you see the options, pick an option. Secondly, for the winners, and this is really important, We want all of the winners to email us, first place, second place, and third place. At the end of the program, send us an email at islamicheritagemonth.org@gmail.com. We want you to include a screenshot of your winning screen, and that'll help us verify who you are, and we'll be in touch with you after that. So we'll be starting in about 15 more seconds. We have around 275 participants, and we'll just give a few more seconds for everyone to join. We're at 285. If there's any last minute participants who are still logging on, do it fast. Let's see if we can get to 300, and then we will start the quiz shortly. And the numbers are climbing rapidly. We're at 297 now. And I'm going to hit start here as soon as we hit 300. It looks like there's still more people joining, so I'm just going to wait about 10 more seconds. There are 307. Okay, we'll get started. We're around 320 participants. Let's get on with our game. All right. So, beginning with the first question in 3, 2, 1. What experiment type developed by Al-Razi is the current gold standard of experimentation in medicine? And your options are randomized mixed group study, observational study, cross-sectional study, or randomized controlled trial study. We have 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. All right. And the correct answer, answered by 57 people, is randomized control trial. Let's go on to the next question. Ibn Nafis, who's one of the scholars and scientists from the Islamic Golden Age, discovered which of the following concepts? Pulmonary circulation, contractility of the heart, cardiopulmonary bypass machine, or oxygenation and deoxygenation of tissues. 15 seconds remaining to answer. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And the correct answer is pulmonary circulation. A majority of people answered contractility of the heart, which is the wrong answer. The correct answer is pulmonary circulation. Let's move on to our third question. Who was the great 10th century philosopher who wrote the landmark book, The Canon of Medicine? Was it Ibn Rushd, Al-Jabr, Ibn Sina, or Aristotle? And I'll give you a hint. The English name of this scholar was Avicenna, so maybe that will help you with your answer. And the correct answer is Avicenna or Ibn Sina. All right, we're 3 questions down. Let's see what the standings look like. In first place, we have Syed. In second place, GA. And in third place, Sydney. So let's keep going. Who was the person who said, if the plague breaks out in a region, do not go there, but if you are already there, do not come out of it? Was it Muhammad, peace be upon him, the founder of Islam? Was it the World Health Organization? Was it Anthony Fauci? Or was it Al Jazeera? Excellent job with those answers. The majority of the people got this question right. The answer is Muhammad, peace be upon him, the founder of Islam, was the person who said this quote. All right, let's keep going. The first known mobile hospitals were known as Tent of Medina, Tent of Rufaidah, Islamic Ambulance, or the Damascus Hospital. Great job once again. The correct answer is Tent of Rufaidah. So the majority of people guessed Tent of Medina. That's incorrect. The right answer is Tent of Rufaidah. And Rufaidah was one of the women who was a pioneer in Islamic contributions to medicine. So we've done halfway, and still in the lead we have Syed. Second place we have Ryan Webb, and third place we have Hivasini. So let's keep going. Which of the following is true about the Islamic Golden Age? Only men were allowed to be scientists, only men were allowed to be physicians, women played an integral role in scientific advancements, or none of the above? We have 10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And the correct answer is women played an integral role in scientific advancements. Let's keep going forward. Question number 7. Al-Razi is a scholar who is most renowned for his contributions in, is it mathematics, astronomy, medicine, or architecture? And the hint is that it relates to the theme of today's program. Great job, everyone. Majority of people, 242 people, answered the right answer, which is medicine. Okay, we're going to keep going. After 7 questions, we have a new first place leader who's Munisa, then Syed, and Ryan Webb is third. Excuse me. Which period is considered the Islamic Golden Age? Is it the 4th century to the 10th century? Is it the 8th century to the 14th century? Is it the 10th century to the 16th century, or is it the 6th century to the 12th century? The correct answer is 8th century to the 14th century, and 119 people got that right. Okay, last 2 questions, everybody. Ryan Webb is now in the lead, Syed is second, and Hivasini is back in third. All right, question number 9. Who among the following was a specialist in eye surgeries during the Fatimid Caliphate in Egypt? This is a difficult question. Was it Maryam al-Qibtiyya, Karima al-Marwaziyya, Banu Musa, or Fatima al-Firi? Okay, the correct answer is Maryam al-Qibtiyya, and 94 people were able to get that right. Great job to the ones who were able to get it right. Okay, now for the final question, and I'll show you the leaderboard. Ahana is now in first place, and Rida is in second place. Ryan Webb, you're in third place, but it's very close between the top 5. So let's see who comes out on top. Last question. Which of the following is a major contribution of the Islamic Golden Age to the field of orthopedic surgery, which is my field? Is it the introduction of robotic surgeries? Is it the development of advanced prosthetics, advances in anatomical understandings, or an introduction of imaging modalities like MRI? Which of the following? We have about 5 seconds remaining. Okay, and the correct answer, which a majority of people got, very impressive, is advances in anatomical understanding. So now let's take a look at our winners after the 10 questions have been completed. Third place, we have James. Second place, Sayed. And first place is Ahana S. Congratulations to all of our participants. Sayed, Ahana, James, you should send us an email, and I'll show you the instructions here. Please send us an email to this email address, islamicheritagemonth.org@gmail.com. Include a screenshot of your game screen, mention your name in the email, and we'll be in touch with you about the prizes. Okay, everybody, we hope that you found today's program to be very informative. We hope you learned something. We hope you enjoyed the performances from the children, the interviews with the doctors, and most of all, the Kahoot game, which all of you did so well on. And we have our 3 winners. We apologize for some of the technical difficulties at the start, but we were able to put together, a wonderful program. And on behalf of the team, I would like to thank all of the organizers as well. And we hope that you can see Islam in a new light going forward as a religion and a group of people who have provided so many valuable contributions that allow the world to be the way it is today. So once again, thank you for joining us. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. That concludes our program for today. We'll see you again next year.